This is stunning portraits in midday sun with one off-camera flash. Let's get into it. What's up, friends? My name is Pye. Welcome to another MagMod video. You know me, you know I like to get straight into things. So let's dive right in with a brief intro. This is Kiara. Y'all know her, but we're gonna link her up anyway, so you guys can give her a follow if you'd like. Why don't we go straight into the recipe? What do you need for this overall look? What we want to achieve here is this kind of dramatic look where the background is just nice and creamy. So you're gonna need a few different pieces. The first, I'd recommend a prime lens, either a 50mm or an 85. Something that's gonna open up to around 1.2 to 1.4-ish for your aperture. That's gonna give us that creamy look in the background. I'm gonna be using the Sigma 50mm art paired with my Canon R5. Use any combination, any setup you'd like. Next, you'll want a powerful light source. For our off-camera flash, when we're working midday and we're modifying it, we're gonna need at least 250, ideally 500 watt seconds of power. That's what we have in the ProPhoto B10 Plus here. This is the light that I use. Use any light that you would like. It doesn't matter, but you just need a lot of power when shooting midday sun when we're modifying.
It's over 9,000!
For our modifier, I chose the MagBox 42-inch Octa. This is gonna give me a very soft and a very natural overall look to the light, and that's exactly what I want. So these are the three pieces that we need for our recipe. Let's now jump into the actual step-by-step process. I'm gonna break this down into 4 steps following the CAMP framework. Let's start with composition. I'm not gonna worry yet about Kiara's positioning. I'm choosing this kind of sideways angle because we get something that's far more interesting than if I was to shoot straight into these bushes. See, at this angle, I'm gonna go ahead and dial in my camera setting. We're gonna go 1.500, f1.4, and ISO 100. This is what we get natural light. Don't worry too much about the bright spots on her yet. We're gonna fix that in just a moment. But what we have is these foreground elements that kind of lead into the frame. Kiara is placed in front of a darker area of kind of tree, shrub in the background. That's great because it's gonna help her to pop. And then we have the sort of trees extending the background. So we have depth when we go at an angle versus when we go straight on. Now I do wanna adjust Kiara's positioning, but the first thing I wanna do is actually dial in ambient light. That way you can see the adjustments I'm gonna make to Kiara kind of in a more visible way. So let's go ahead and bring the camera up. I'm gonna take the same shot. This time, I'm gonna go to low ISO. We're gonna bring it to 1/1000th of a second for my shutter, okay? Now, why low ISO? Because if I can keep my shutter speed a little bit slower, I'm gonna get more output for my flashes. Whenever we use high-speed sync, the higher your shutter goes, the less of that light is gonna be able to land on our subjects. I'm not gonna get into the details of it, but just understand your shutter speed, even if the flash stays at the same power, the faster the shutter speed, the less light is gonna land on your subject. So if I can go low ISO and do 1/1000th, it'll allow a little bit more power to come through on my flash. So this is where we're gonna keep it. You can see how it's nice and dark, but you can also see how the light that's landing on Kiara is not that flattering. So before I even bring this in, I wanna position her in a way that best uses our existing light. So here's what I'm gonna do. The first thing, I'm actually gonna have Kiara kind of reverse the hair. So bring the hair out on the right side. And what we're gonna do is position her so the sun acts like a beautiful hair light right on the side of her body. It gives us kind of edging, everything, okay? The next thing is we wanna be very careful with the actual positioning. So see, if I position her a little bit too deep, in fact, I'll take this shot, right? So look at already, this shot versus the last one, okay? Look at the hair light, how it catches the hair. It looks beautiful, right? If I position her a little bit too deep, so scoot this way, keep scooting. Now watch, right here, we've lost the hair light. We've lost all that detail there. If I position her too far out, go step out this way, Kiara, and kind of turn in towards me more, like this way. There you go. Now, we're getting too much direct sun kind of on the face. So that sweet spot was sort of right here. Come forward a tiny bit, right there. And stepping out just ever so little bit, maybe a little bit back, where we have this beautiful edge kind of coming in on the arm right there. Take one tiny step that way. There it is. Beautiful. And now I'm gonna angle her chin a little bit towards the light source where I'm gonna position it. She's still gonna look towards me, but the chin is just gonna be a little more angled. Bring the face back a little bit, Kiara, right there, right there. Perfect. I want you guys to see this in depth because these are those micro adjustments that make a massive difference, especially when we're doing a one light setup. Because right now, essentially what I've done is, it's not really a one light setup, is it? See, the sun is acting as not only this kind of gigantic scene light, but it's landing right on her. It's giving us a hair light, an edge light. We have this edging on the body. then the open sky is this gigantic fill for the entire scene. The sun's also giving us little catch lights on the vegetation around us. So really, with the right positioning, we're already starting with a number of great light sources, and this makes it so easy at this point, because at this point, all I've got to do is start to modify. That's when we get to step 3, right? Modify our light source. I'm going to go ahead and just bring the light in. We're going to position it coming kind of from the same angle as this open sky. So kind of, you saw in the frame how that light is coming left to right. I want my light to kind of match the same lighting angle. So it's coming a bit top down and from the left side of the frame, almost crisscross to the sun. So the sun's basically on one side, the light's on the other, okay? And look, whenever you're working in midday sun, the rule is just when in the sun, 1/1, meaning start at full power. If you need to back off, you can. But honestly, when we're using a large modifier like this, I think full power is going to be kind of the right setting, okay? Especially when we're using high-speed sync. Okay, with the light source in, I'm just going to take a quick test shot, see if we need to make any adjustments to power, and honestly, this is pretty much spot on. I absolutely love that. The quality of the light, everything. What I might do is make a tiny adjustment, maybe move the flash just a little bit deeper into the scene to give me a little bit more direction to that light on her. If you want to make it more dramatic, then push the light a little deeper. You want to make it a little less dramatic as far as like shadows on the skin, push the light back towards the camera. So here I'm just making it a little bit more dramatic. Let's see it. Oh, I love that. Perfect. So now we've got everything in place. Now it's time to just simply pose and photograph our final steps, and I'm going to do that now. Now look, I love this angle and everything, but once you have your lighting set up, make little adjustments to your angle. This is just kind of a bonus tip. You'll get very different looks from it. So what I'm going to do now is just come kind of closer to the light, and I'm going to bring Kiara forward a little bit. There's this beautiful patch of light directly behind her that's kind of like really bright on the foliage. So what I'm going to do is place that kind of right above and behind her head, because our eyes are naturally drawn to brighter areas of the frame. Now, we've almost used the foliage itself to create this natural vignette, because towards the right it gets darker, towards the left it gets darker, and right behind her is the brightest area of the frame, and it really adds a lot to the composition. We're gonna let her enjoy the photos. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you have any comments, any questions, let me know in the comments below. I do read all the comments. I do my best to reply as well. Also, we're going to link up all the gear that we used in the description of the video. That's it for me. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.